So we all know that we would never stick a client report or clinical note into ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, or another LLM because of the privacy implications. We know that the data is not controlled by us, and we know that the companies who manage these LLMs make part of their business model mining that data. We would consider that it's an unacceptable privacy risk to be feeding client data directly into an AI. But did you know that if you're using Windows 11, you might be doing it without already knowing? Let's start with some background. The new general registration competencies for psychologists require us to have a basic level of digital literacy. One of the most important things in the digital literacy landscape right now is privacy. And the most important privacy document in Australia are the Australian Privacy Principles. If you look at those Australian privacy principles, you'll see that the responsibility for privacy sits with the end user, not with the company. So if you're using Halaxy or you're using NovoPsych or you're using Microsoft, whatever the product is that you're using, you are responsible for ensuring that it meets basic privacy standards and that you've configured it in a way that is compliant with those privacy standards. And where things are difficult, for instance, overseas data storage, you've made appropriate disclosures in your privacy policy. So how does this relate to AI and Microsoft? Well, if you're a Windows 11 user, you will have Microsoft Copilot switched on by default. What's the big deal? Copilot has an amazing feature called Recall, which uses see what you see technology. Every few seconds, it takes a screenshot of your entire desktop, which it then stores locally to go into its context window. It knows what you've been browsing. It knows what tasks you're struggling with. It knows that you typed in things incorrectly when you were trying to make it do something. It's an incredibly useful feature for those who are the end users of Microsoft Windows. But from a health data point of view, it's a nightmare because it is seeing your Halaxy window, it's seeing your Xander window, and it's seeing your Prac Suite window. All of the clients that you are viewing are being snapshotted and stored locally. So what's the big deal? Health data is different. If I go to Athlete's Foot and tell them that I've got a size 13 shoe and they keep that on file, that is retail commercial data and they are free to sell it to any company that they like. If I go to a podiatrist and tell them that I've got a size 13 foot, that is health data. Under the Australian privacy principles, health data is treated in a fundamentally different category. We need to consider any data that we store, from simple things like date of birth and address through to the most sensitive aspects of a person's referral and treatment plan. All of that data needs to be treated at the highest level of security. Do I think that Microsoft's recall feature meets that highest level of security? I don't. And in fact, it's not just me. The International Criminal Court has just switched away from using Microsoft because they no longer trust that the security guarantees that are given by Microsoft for their productivity suite meet their privacy requirements. At the bare minimum, if you are a Microsoft user, you need to go into settings and you need to turn off local snapshots. You might need to even consider turning off Copilot altogether. And if you'd like to go full paranoid, you can pick up one of these for a couple $100 on Facebook Marketplace. Second-hand Windows machine, and the first thing I do is delete Windows and stick on Linux and use free open source software that has higher quality security guarantees. There's a spectrum of the right level of response for this stuff, but at the bare minimum, you need to understand the software that you're using, understand the privacy implications of that software, and configure it in a way that is compliant with the Australian privacy standards.